Hey guys, I just got back from the post office and I'm always humbled anytime you guys send me letters or anything in the mail, and I really appreciate it. So I wanted to give a shout out to Linda, who sent me the book, What Really Makes You Ill, and Arthur Furstenberg's The Invisible Rainbow. This right here was discussed by Andrew Kaufman on my interview with him. If you don't know who Andrew Kaufman is, just look him up on YouTube. He probably won't be around on YouTube very long because the guy's speaking a lot of truth about what's going on with this CV19 thing. The guy's totally clued in. So thank you, Linda. And also I want to thank Bowman for sending me another gold back. This right here is physical gold, real physical gold. And I will talk about that in an upcoming video, hopefully in the next week or two. I've been meaning to do this. This is something we all got to be clued into. But I wanted to read part of what Bowman wrote here because I thought it was really good. He said, sadly, I think many Americans, your viewers included, suffer from Eleutherophobia. The air of liberty is far too rarefied for most to breathe. As you know, freedom is not easy. It requires foresight, knowledge, and responsibility, all of which many Americans do not possess. And we can see that day after day, day in, day out. I mean, we're surrounded by people who are just bootlicking morons, idiots, who literally believe that somebody has a higher claim over their life and property than them, to the extent where they're just giving up their liberties for nothing. Somebody just breathes a lie out on mainstream media and they're just ready to lay down at the first wave of, mental adversity. He says, when I got out of the military, I took a military intelligence job at Fort, I'm not going to mention the name. I really took to psychoanalysis and started to apply it in history. I discovered an 80 to 100 year cycle called saeculum. Saeculum is the root word for century. There are 4 generations per saeculum. Others have called it the fourth turning. Every fourth turning since the Renaissance has ended in total war. And then he says, I'm not entirely pessimistic about the future, but we are at the mercy of the masses. I can imagine there were voices like yours in the past. Actually, voices like all of us. All of us, if you have a heart toward freedom, you have a heart toward freedom, not just for yourself, not just for your family, not just for the people in your zone of influence who you love. You have a heart for freedom, for that badged, armed, uniformed law enforcer. You want him to be free too. You want his family to be free. Without liberty, we literally have nothing. I don't care what kind of car you drive. I don't care how much money you got in your bank account or how big your house is or what kind of reputation you've got. If you don't have freedom, you've got nothing at all. No ability to exercise freedom to go where you want to go, when you want to go, spend the money you spend, where you want to spend it, how you want to spend it, without, NSA spying on you, without the long arm of government reaching into your pocket and stealing a percentage of your time and laboring energies, which is what it amounts to when they're stealing your money. He says, I imagine there were voices like yours in the past. Actually, we know there were, so don't give up. With that said, I commend you on your passion, hard work, and dedication. He gave me this $5 greenback right here, and then he ended it with a quote from Marcus Aurelius. The object of life is not to be on the side of the majority, but to escape finding oneself in the ranks of the insane. And that reminds me of that quote that I talk about all the time, that it's no measure of good mental health to be considered well adjusted to a profoundly sick society. And then John Dottie wrote me, I'm going to hide his phone number right there, but he gave me a perspective on handing out these CV19 is a lie posters and flyers, and I wanted to bounce this off you. He said, I've been watching your YouTubes for the past couple weeks. Thank you for your diligent efforts. In your episode where you and Trish went out passing out flyers, a young lady stopped you and told you to F yourselves. I admired your constraint and patience. I wondered at the time and since if we might have more success with a different approach. And then he says, suppose instead of labeling the flyer CV19 is a lie and telling people so, what if we called it CV19 the real killer? Then print the same information, but don't tell the people CV19 is a lie. Let them read it and figure it out for themselves. If they decide for themselves it's a HOAX, We are more likely to get the response we need by educating more people rather than turning them off with our signs. Don't let them know how you feel about it unless they're genuine in asking and are open to the truth. Otherwise, let them figure it out. Change the posters maybe to CV19, protect yourself. Let them decide what they really need to be protected from. It's just an idea. Let me know what you think. I think it's a great idea, because when I was in the post office, here's some video right now of me being in the post office, and I handed this guy who's got this old guy, he's got this, you know, patriotic looking mask and hat on, and I handed him the flyer, and he took it from me, took one look at it, and put it down. So I like the tactic of, hey, protect yourself from CV19, and get them to read it, and get them to read the direct quotes from Anthony Fauci, from Deborah Birx. Let them see the actual quotes from the CDC and the World Health Organization and the Trump administration, where they're completely hanging themselves. Show them the quotes from CNN where they're double speaking on everything they're saying about this thing being so dangerous and so deadly, and yet we've never shut anything down for the deadlier regular influenza virus, which I'm not convinced it's with us just on its own. It seems like it's being perpetuated by the V word. You know, you can't say the V word, because if you do, you start getting your videos taken down. So thank you to Bowman. Thank you to John. Thank you to Linda. I really appreciate the books. Thank you guys for sending me stuff in the P.O. box. Let me know what you think about what John said about changing the tactics a little bit and not giving them the answer, but having them come to their own conclusions themselves. I think that's powerful, because when somebody thinks they came up with that all by themselves, then they own it. It's theirs. It wasn't given to them. It wasn't spoon-fed to them. The pill wasn't crammed down their throats. They came up with it themselves in their own mind. So I tend to like that. I want to see what you guys think. I really appreciate you guys, everybody on Patreon, PayPal, all the comments, all the shares, all the likes, which you guys send me in my P.O. box. It's very humbling. I really appreciate it. And we always have to remember that the price of freedom is and always will be eternal vigilance. And indifference to this notion is the means by which the people have and will secure their own oppression. I'll see you guys in the next heavily censored shadow ban video.